All right, there's some going with the same MRP theme. We've got some really neat enhancements that have happened. I am Kristin. I am from the Wild West of Colorado. I've been with Algorithm for about 10 years, and my areas of expertise are finance, manufacturing, and that really fun spot in between them, cost accounting, where I get a little excited about that. So don't judge me. So I do a lot of, being from the Wild West of Colorado, I do a lot of horseback riding and training with my horse. And we train for competitions. And one thing my trainer always tells me is that sometimes, we make a really small change to our input, makes a big change on the output of what happens, So, all right, I shift my weight a little bit. You can't even see it. And next thing you know, my horse can come through that turn just flawlessly. I feel like what they've done with MRP is along those same lines. We've made some really small changes, but these changes are just huge in how MRP can perform for you. So let's take a look at a few of those. Those are excluding inactive warehouses, excluding certain order types, and then the new planning horizon, which I think is very exciting. The first thing, we'll start smallest to biggest here, is the warehouses. If you use multiple warehouses, then you may have different replenishment demands in those warehouses. So if maybe you move to a bigger facility and we need to inactivate a warehouse. When we inactivate a warehouse now, automatically goes and clears all that out of inventory planning or MRP. This is really big because previously, had you inactivated a warehouse, you still had all these planning settings, all this replenishment demand, and it could probably be a little bit cluttered in your MRP to have to see this warehouse you're no longer using. This clears it all out so you don't have to go mass update all those replenishment parameters in your item warehouse details. Something very simple little input makes a huge difference on the output. The next thing we have is the ability to exclude some order types from MRP. Now this only pertains to things that are coming back. So on this template here, anything that has an operation of a receipt type is going to apply here. So this is going to be your mixed order, your return for credit, RMA. It could be a custom order type that you have created. And now we're going to get a special little checkbox here under inventory planning settings that says include returns in inventory planning supply. Why would we want to do that? Well, if you're in like a repair type of situation and something's coming back and you don't know if you're going to be able to resell it or not, you may not want to have that checked. But maybe you, distribute to maybe a bigger distributor. I'll use like Home Depot or Tractor Supply or something, and you send them pallets of stuff. And they have a new buyer and they over-ordered and they need to send it back because they don't have any room. That would be a great situation where we might want to include our returns and our planning supply so that we don't overproduce or overpurchase the components for that. And that can kind of come back in, and that communicates to production that they're going to have some supply coming back. By default, this is checked when you upgrade to 2024 R1. So if it's something that you do not want on those, or there's certain order types you want to exclude, then you need to make sure you come in and uncheck this box when you upgrade. The next part's my favorite. I call this the planning horizon. I think that is such a great term because a lot of times when you start using MRP, it becomes unwieldy. It's big, it's overwhelming. I'm always encouraging people, you need to slice and dice this thing. You can't look at it in its entirety. It's just too much. So let's break it down. Well, this is absolutely brilliant because now we have this planning horizon and we can say, all right, how far out do I realistically need to plan? Is it 2 weeks? Is it a month? I set it for 90 days. Maybe I'm, being a little bit of a control freak, I want to know that far out. But do I need to know what I need to make in, October, December 2025? No, I don't need to see that right now. It's just kind of cluttering up my MRP and making it kind of unwieldy and hard to deal with. So now we can set this planning horizon. And what that means is we're going to set a date. And so if I regenerate MRP today, anything that's late, of course, a planned date that's late, or this many days that's set here in the future, that's all it's going to show me. So for example, I've created myself a little forecast. And this forecast, I've got a weekly forecast for production going out to these end dates of, later in 2024, and then something going all the way out to 2025. I'm going to be out of components. I'm going to have production demand. There's not going to be orders out that far, and that's okay. But I don't need to look at that right now. I know it's there. And when I go to my MRP, as you can see, I'm on my very last page of MRP here, and the latest date I have is June of 2024. It's not running all the way back, all the way out in the future for me. The advantage of this is, number one, it really helps keep it a little more digestible for your users. But also, even better yet, I think, is that it makes it, your regen time will go faster. If you have a really big MRP and a lot of warehouses, a lot of items, a lot of demand, your regen could take 10 or 12 minutes. Well, this could dramatically shorten that time. So this is just, a few small inputs we change make some really big output changes.